Good morning, everybody. We are back. We are back. Morning, fam. Happy Tuesday. Oh, what's going on here? It's good to see y'all this morning. Say hey. Would love to hear from you. Good morning. Good morning. We are live. Week 4. How to use AI in your job search. All righty. Say hey. Would love to hear from you. For those of you tuning in who may not have caught the previous 3 weeks, we are in week 4 of using AI in your job search. Again, kind of to preface this as people are tuning in, I talk with a lot of people, believe it or not, in my role. And a lot of conversations around the job search, how to use AI, from the simplest things of, hey, have you even just asked AI on what job boards you should look at, right? Or what sub communities you should focus on? Or, hey, this is what I do. What should I do next, right? And so we've been breaking that down to give you guys an overview. Week 1, so if you go to the Torque YouTube accounts, week 1, we went over how to use Claude to figure out the job you actually want. So I'm using Claude in this series, but you can use whatever. So it's like figuring out, using AI to figure out what job you actually want. We went through a skills audit, values and priorities, defining a target role, and a job description fit check. Those are the prompts. Week 2, we went into building your target company hit list. I think week 2 was probably one of the most impactful ones, in my opinion. We generated company ideas, deep company research. Then we went into a job description red flag detector. And then we went into building a tracker. So that was really cool. Again, this is all on the Torque YouTube, so check that out. Week 3 was last Friday. It was a quick back-to-back. So week 3, we went over a live resume rewrite. I do not have my resume ready to go because I'm not actively looking for a job. So what we did is if you go back and check that out, I went into some prompts on how to build your resume. Again, one of the things that I use a lot, Chris, it's good to see you this morning. One of the things I use a lot is pressure test this, right? I use the word pressure test this. Review my resume as if you're a hiring manager for a startup Series A company. Review my resume if you're a Series C founder. Review my resume if I am, if you're a global CEO hiring for a head of community. So we pressure tested that. So go check that out. Today we are jumping into the LinkedIn makeover. So we're going to do this. But again, if you are tuning in this morning, say, hey, would love to hear from you. Again, this live show that I've been doing, Guidance Counselor 2.0, I've been doing for 6 years now, which is crazy. I got a spot on my shirt. 6 years now. Must be one of my kids' breakfast on my shirt. I tell you what, that's like being a dad. Every live stream now, it's like, what food do I have on my shirt for my kids? So I've been doing this for 6 years. Was really heavy on other interviews, which was great, with other people. Took some time off, recalibrated. Now I'm doing this job search series. I'm probably going to do more of these series for the rest of the year. I really like these series. Very focused, very practical to-dos. That's kind of been really my mantra, right? I feel like a lot of podcasts are out there are very theoretical, kind of pie in the sky type situations. I want to get very, very practical, tactical with you. So yeah, we're going to dive into that today. So, all right. So let's go ahead and dive in today. So for those of you who may catch this stream later, jump into our Torque Discord, torque.dev/Discord. I have this Google Doc available in our Discord, and you can see the prompts on how to do it. And, I think one of the things that I've realized doing this live stream and using AI for your job search, the prompts is the most important part, right? And of course, how I've used AI with my job, the prompts are just very, very important. So we're going to get into that today. So, all right, I can't All right, I'm gonna figure out how to do this. So I'm gonna share my Claude with you guys. And again, we talked about this from a, nope, that's not it. Hold on. I'm gonna dive into, so we talked about projects, right? So projects is something that what you can work within something, right? So Claude Series is obviously a specific project set up for this specific live stream. Erica, it's good to see you this morning, girl. I had problems when I was starting using AI, like what's a project, what's a skill? A project is if a group of documents, a specific project, something you're working on to remember the context of everything. So I'm working through this Claude series, and so it has all the context of my last 3 streams on it. This again is my 4th stream. So what I'm going to do here, I can't share multiple screens at once, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy and paste parts of my LinkedIn into like screenshot into the Claude series. So we can just work out of one screen here to make it easier on everybody. So I'm going to try to open up. LinkedIn is being super slow right now. Hold on real quick. It is not pulling up my profile. Why is it not pulling up my profile? Hold on. Why is LinkedIn being buggy this morning? It's not letting me click into anything. There we go. All right. So we're going to walk through this here together. I have my trusty doc. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a headline rewrite, right? We're going to do a headline rewrite. The prompt that we're going to do is, here's my current LinkedIn headline. Here's a background of what I'm targeting, and then write 5 different headline topics. So what we're going to do, so again, I talk about this all the time. This is incredibly important, this top part of your LinkedIn. Now, this is going to be a little bit do as I say, not as I do. And the reason for that is I position my LinkedIn, I'm not looking for a job. So a lot of my stuff is positioning my LinkedIn as a way for you to hit my LinkedIn and to understand what I do currently, not what I want to do, if that makes sense. So it's going to suggest some things. I'm sure AI is going to suggest some things. Bob, it's good to see you this morning. Stephanie, it's good to see you this morning. AI is going to suggest some things that I'm not going to use because I'm not looking for a job. Heather, it's great to see you, girl. But I want to go through the prompts with you here. So again, the headline portion, we talk about it a lot. So I'm going to go in here. It says, here is my current LinkedIn headline. Here is my background and what I'm targeting, refer to past conversations in this project. And I'm looking for head of community, let's just say at another talent platform company. And then can you write 5 different headline options for me? Make one specific and outcome oriented. Avoid generic titles. The goal is to make a recruiter stop scrolling. I love this part, and click my profile. I love that. All right, so let's see what it does here. Let's see what it does. I love that prompt. I love the prompt. The goal is to make a recruiter stop scrolling and click on my profile. So let's see what it comes up with here. Yeah, LinkedIn's incredibly buggy from a stream perspective. Let's see here. Your Torque leadership headline. How loud do you want this job signal to be? Here, you know what? I'll just do loud, right? Again, I'm not looking for a job. I want to preface that. Danny Ron said people or Torque people who watch this, but let's just say I am looking for a job. I want this to be loud, right? So let's see here. So here are 5 options. Built Torque's global community from zero. Multi-market activations, career podcasts, and 30+ technologists reached weekly. Love that. Looking for my next 0 to 1 as head of community talent platform, right? I talked about this in last Friday's stream. My goal is to build community from 0 to 1. That's what I've done in every step. It's what I did at Vaco. It's what I did at Gun.io, and that's what I'm doing here, right? The direct ask, VP of Global Community at Torque, took a talent platform community from 0 to global. Now looking to do it again as head of community. I love this. This is some good stuff. I built community technologists that actually show up for events, podcasts, newsletters, 30,000 followers, open to head of community roles. So again, it gives some interesting notes. Number 1 is the strongest for recruiter search. It contains head of community and talent platform as little keywords. Again, I talk about this. I've talked about this in my content for 6 years. You have to write your LinkedIn and you have to write your resume with keywords that are specific to the jobs that you want. If I were to be looking for a job, I would look for head of community and talent platform. Those are the 2 things that I really, really focus on, and that's what needs to go on there. So I think that's great. Cool. Jason, it's good to see you this morning, buddy. All right, so headline rewrite, that's the first one, right? I think all these are good. And then again, you can prompt it, you know, some things you like, some things you don't like, and kind of work on that, right? Prompt 2, right? All right, so again, let's go about this. And again, here's the deal, y'all. I've talked about this. I tweeted about this the other day. I said, I think one of the biggest money-making paths that have been hit for AI is basically like career experts, because in my opinion, you should be using AI to get you 80% of the way there. Now, I think it is still good to talk to a career expert, guidance counselor, you know, kind of my vibe, to help you in your job search. But a lot of this stuff can be used in AI, right? Spend a day, get granular, right? We've already talked about how to write your resume. Now we're talking about how to use your LinkedIn. If I were you, I would spend an entire day leveraging AI to kind of rewrite your foundational blocks of your job search. So what are your foundational blocks? They are your resume and they are your LinkedIn, right? And then when I would pay somebody to help you kind of get aligned is when you have all this stuff written, but then your job tactics aren't helping, right? That's where I would pay somebody to. In my opinion, I wouldn't really pay a resume writer at this point. I wouldn't pay a LinkedIn writer. I would specifically pay, if you want to, on the tactical how to find a job. But again, I think you can leverage AI for that. So that's that. Jason, you are so big on font. It's nuts. All right. So let's go into the next part, right? So we talk about this. So let's go to the about section here, right? Let's go to the about section. All right. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to upload it into here. All right. Here is my about section. Can you pressure test this? I always use pressure test this. I'm curious if anybody watching, do you have any other prompts that you use? Do you have any other prompts you use? I use pressure test. I don't know if there's other verbiage out there. I'm kind of curious for people who watch this, if there's any other verbiage you use. I use pressure test. So here's my about. So you pressure test this in terms of making a recruiter or hiring manager call me, right? And let's see let's see what it does here. Jason, appreciate that. Yeah. I think AI is a great. So I really think AI can really get you, again, like I said, 80% of the way there. Here's the pressure test verdict. This bio makes developers DM you, does not make hiring managers call you. So here's the deal. That's what I actually want, right? That's what I want. I want developers to DM me, right? I'm not looking for a job. So this actually is correct. So if I were to rewrite it, it's the wrong call to action, wrong audience. Would love to assist you with your next job search. Shoot me a DM. A hiring manager reads that and concludes you're serving job seekers, not seeking a role. Absolutely correct. There's 0 community metrics. Correct. I'm not highlighting that because I'm not looking for a job, but you're selling head of community with recruiter metrics. A hiring manager needs Discord size, growth rate, engagement, event attendance, email list size, newsletter subs, follower growth, and ideally one business outcome. I have all that. I can update it. But again, really, really good here to help guide you. No 0 to 1 story, right? Talk about this all the time. Oscar, it's good to see you. David, I'll get to your question in a second. No 0 to 1 story. Your differentiator is you built Torque's community from nothing. The bio says you lead the charge, which sounds like you inherited it, built from zero. So again, I love that. Third person reads like a conference speaker bio. It is true. I use this for my conference speaker bio. So again, like this is what I'm saying. AI's pegged this perfectly. I'm not looking for a job. My bio is written for developers. I use this for conference bios, right? So again, it's very spot on. So again, there's really, really good stuff. What a rewrite needs in order to first person hook with your biggest number above the fold, 0 to 1 story, 3 to 4 hard metrics, 1 line of speaker proof, and a close that says exactly what you want and how to reach you. I love this, right? We're not going to go through this because I think at the end of the day, this is very contextual just to me. But again, I want to go through the prompts here and show you what it can do. This pegged it perfectly. David's question, general question about Claude. Is it worth paying for the upgrade pro plan of Claude? It depends. What are you using it for, right? I have the pro plan. I think it's great. I think one of the things that I've done, David, is I started with the free plan. And once I started to hit my limit every day, I upgraded to the $20 a month one, right? Then I started to use it, $20 a month one. Then I started to hit my maximum amount every day, right? Consistently. Then I upgraded to the $100 a month one, right? That's how I would use it. I don't know how you're using it, how you would want to use it, but that is my best practice here. I wouldn't just jump straight to it. I would work your way up there. If you find yourself kind of token maxing pretty quickly, then I would level up. So that is my thoughts there. Great question. All right. So to recap, we did my headline, right? We said pressure test this as a way for recruiters to call me. It came up with some good stuff. Then we went into my about me section. It basically said my about me section sucks, which it does because it's not written for the job search. It's written for developers, which it called out here. So again, it's very spot on here, right? So let's go to the next thing here, right? Let's go to my recent position, right? Let's go to my recent position here. And I'm going to upload it here. I did do a little work to just update what I've been doing because I think it's good to have. So can you review this and pressure test this as a hiring manager looking for head of community? Am I missing anything specifically? All right, so let's see what it says again. This is my most recent role, but we're actually going to walk through my past few roles. And in full honesty, I actually used AI so a lot of my stuff is very recruiter focused. So I actually used AI a few weeks ago to kind of rewrite my LinkedIn, just to give people more of an idea of what I'm doing, because I get so many questions of, Taylor, what do you do? I don't know what you do. So I wanted to update it. So solid section, way stronger than your about. Correct, because I have not addressed the about section, so I'm not looking, right? But read as a hiring manager for head of community. Here's what stops me from calling in order. No community size anywhere. Love that, right? This is a miss. 11 bullet points and not one says grew community from 0 to X members. You have events, email, content, activations, but the core asset, Discord members, total active members is never quantified. Love that. You're right. That's great. I need to go add that, right? So for me, one thing we've done is basically grow the US community 320% since January of this year, right? Active, engaged talent members in the US has scaled pretty tremendously, right? Our Discord members have gone from basically 0 to we're really, really close to 5,000 members. So I need to include that in here. No engagement or retention metrics, right? So I want daily active users, monthly active users, repeat attendance, or member retention. Without one of these, a skeptic reads this as a marketing funnel person who calls it community. I think that's very spot on. And the 80% claim has no denominator, right? I love that. Targeting 3 million impressions in 2026 is a projection, not a result. So again, I need to fix that, right? No programs, only channels. Head of community, JD asked about ambassador program, champions, moderation at scale, community-led onboarding. Right? I think that's great. I think I need to add all that. I have all that. Again, now here's another thing too, right? I used AI to write this, but I did not put the specific prompt that I just did. Pressure test this as a hiring manager looking at my resume. If you were to call me for head of community, I did not use that specific prompt, and it has uncovered more things that I'm missing, right? Which is incredibly important, right? Ordering buries the lead. I don't get this. The creative direction and brand standard. Okay. All right, cool. Keep the tattoo bullet point exactly where it is. That's the most memorable line. I love that. No specifically missing member count. So again, great information here, right? Let's get into let's get into what I did at Gun.io, right? So I'm gonna screenshot this. This was my role at Gun.io. So this role, I was more of a traditional community manager. Can you pressure test this and see what I'm missing? Same thing like above, right? So let's see here. Questions. Hi, everyone. First timer. Love this workshop. One question. Would you suggest a course on prompt writing? It just depends, right? I mean, it depends for what? For coding, for writing. To let you know, Shara Marie France. If you jump into the Torque Discord, torque.dev/Discord, I have these prompts somewhere in the Discord. Our community manager Roxy put them in there, so check that out. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a course and learning how to prompt, right? One of the things that I've really worked on is how to prompt better, because as you can see with this exercise, I told everybody that I actually used AI to write those bullet points, but I didn't use the one specific prompt of pressure testing as a hiring manager to call me, and it came up with 8 bullet points that I needed to improve on. So again, sure, if you want to go do it, great. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to trial and error. LinkedIn user, good morning. Leroy, it's good to see you, my man. Comes down to how you value your time for $20 a month. Yes, that's so true. Even if you use it for 1 month, it could be saving a few hours of work. I totally agree with what Leroy says. I think skip out, I'm a big cold brew guy, skip out on 3 cold brews a month and use Claude. I think it's incredibly important. Or AI, right? You can use ChatGPT. You can use Gemini, you can use whatever. I just use Claude because this is what I'm most comfortable with. Melanie, it's good to see you this morning. All right, so this section matters more than you think. The only place on your profile with actual hands-on community management, Discord, meetups, webinars. Torque proofs scale, this proofs craft. Love that thought. Never thought about that. And again, we're reviewing my role before Torque. Timeline contradiction. That's just an overlap there. Formatting bug, real typo on the live profile, bullet point runs. Okay, I need a line break here. That's good. Built without attended. You launched a webinar series. Love that. Let's see here. 27 clients, no dollar. That's your best bullet. It stops 1 step short. 950 community members is defensible only with engagement. So need to look into that. 2 bullet points to cut or quantify, and then prep for tenure questions, lead title for 3 months, then VP. Walk me through leaving Gun.io. And again, this is another thing here, right? And I may extend this series out because I want to stay close to the prompt that Claude developed for me to run this series, but there's some things that we could do in general outside of the series that I probably will do. Overall miss, same disease. Claude just hit me straight between the teeth this morning. Same disease as the Torque section. Engagement numbers, you consistently prove you can build and grow and constantly skip, proving people stayed and participated. So I really needed to drill into that, right? For me, I think it's, for me, if I was active on a job search, I'd probably take a full day and redo all this stuff, right? Now, let me go back to my prompt. The about section, it's experience section, got this. Keyword strategy. All right, so I like this strategy. So what are the top 15? I love this. So the prompt is, what are the top 15 to 20 keywords and phrases recruiters and LinkedIn algorithms are looking for in profiles like mine? Tell me where in my profile I should be using each one. I love this one. I love this prompt. Because again, I think a lot of times we write our resume, we write our LinkedIn, and we just kind of wing it. What this is about to spit out, this is going to be really, really good here, right? So titles, recruiters type, head of community, absolutely. VP of community, absolutely. Director of community, community lead. Developer relations, DevRel. Yeah, it could get a little hairy there for me because I'm not technical. Developer community, right? Love that. Strategy phrases, community-led growth, community strategy, community engagement, developer marketing, go-to-market, talent marketplace. So this is interesting. I want to call this out here. I would actually use this prompt first. Before you write your resume, it's really interesting that this prompt was buried on week 4. I think this is probably a week 2 prompt when we went over our LinkedIn, or week 3 prompt. I think these right here, I think are like massive, that I need to be able to include on my resume and my LinkedIn, right? Strategy phrases, hiring manager search for, community engagement, developer marketing, go-to-market, talent marketplace, need all that in there. Craft and channel terms, Discord, event marketing, content strategy, email marketing, activation, leadership filters, P&L, team management. I love that. 3 actions from this. First, fill up the open to work titles field with the head of community, VP of community, or director of community. Your top 3 pinned skills get algo weight. Third, when you send me the numbers for re-rates, I'll work the phrases. I love this. Don't jam all 18 into the headline. I love this so much. Okay, so let me ask you this. So I'm going to say, let me ask you this. Okay. Yeah, no, I think this is good. Yeah, that is a great prompt. I would say, yes, have a great purpose working on it. That is a good prompt. So yeah, so again, there's been themes out of each of these live streams of like a really good prompt, right? I still go back to week 2, build a target company hit list based off my resume. Love that one. And then this week's is this prompt specifically right here, right? What are the top 15, 20 keywords, algorithms? Where should I put that? So, all right, we're at time. That is how you use AI to write your LinkedIn. We didn't get into my Vaco work. Oh, that was one prompt too. So I'm gonna add. So here's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna add one more prompt that I didn't specifically, that was not given to me, and I want to see this, right? So I will tell you this, one of the things about my background, just a little peel behind the onion here, that I think I have a problem with is I was a hands-on recruiter that has moved into community marketing type stuff. Haven't been a traditional marketer. So trying to craft my resume around recruiting and community and marketing, because really what we do on my team is much more marketing as well. How to position myself. So I'm going to upload the Vaco part, and I'm going to say, based on Torque, Gun.io, and Vaco, how should my LinkedIn profile read? Because I'm not a normal person. I've gone from recruiting into recruiting leadership, into community management, into owning community and some marketing aspects at Torque. What would your advice be? Again, I talk about this all the time. You need to use AI like your guidance counselor, right? One of the things I love to do is just talk to it, right? I use Whisperflow. I just talk to it, and then it goes a lot faster. So let's see what it says here, because I'm kind of curious. I've not asked AI this before about how to position myself. So let me see what it says here. You're reading your own career wrong. Oh, and the profile currently reflects that. You see recruiting, then recruiting leadership, then community plus marketing as a zigzag that needs explaining. A hiring manager at a talent platform sees something rarer. Someone who worked every layer of the exact business model they run. Your job is to make the profile tell that second story on purpose. Here's the through line. I put a version of this sentence at the top of your about section. Spent 15 years of getting technologists to where they belong. First one at a time as a recruiter, then building a talent marketplace inside Vaco, now scaling community. What this means for you practically, your Vaco Nashville engineering remote talent platform role is the buried treasure on the profile. You built a talent marketplace from 0 to a team of 7 inside a staffing company in 2021. Love that. Compress the old recruiting roles hard. Director, senior director. Okay, that's really good. The recruiting background is the answer to the hardest interview questions, so surface it. Every head of community candidate gets, how does community tie to revenue? Most community people come up with social and events and hand wave this. You placed engineers for a decade. Structure the profile so each era has one job. And then one thing to stop doing in 2020, true calling, frame it as you're about treats recruiting like. So I love this here. I love this here. Love this narrative here. I think this is a great way to prep for interviews for me too. Just on how to tell my story. Not a normal person. Well, you guys know what I mean. I don't come from a traditional dev background or marketing background. Woo, still getting over my cold. All right, so I love this. So what I would do here is I would save this and I would read through it when I'm on the toilet, when I'm walking the dog, when I'm feeding the horses, right? Whatever. I would actually marinate on this word, right? Read this over and over again. Because when I get in conversations and interviews, this is a great sell, right? And this was from one prompt, right? So again, I think what the cool thing does about AI is you can enter in your story, what you've done, what you've accomplished, and it basically crafts the narrative for you, right? One of the things, and Jason can attest to this, is being a community manager previously at Torque, and then ultimately helping us kind of with our live streams. A lot of people have problems positioning themselves, right? And this prompt right here, hey, here's my background. Tell me how to position myself and brand myself for conversations. And what this did right here is this would be great. So what I would do here is it says, okay, so this is awesome. What would be my elevator pitch, right? Because again, right, people struggle with the elevator pitch, right? Or the about me section. So let's see, we're going to end here. We're going to see what it says. And then we're going to end the stream for this week. So here it is, built for a 30-second. I've spent 15 years getting technologists to where they belong. I did it one time for a decade as a recruiter, then built a talent marketplace from zero inside Vaco. And for the last 3 years, I've done it at scale through community and 2 talent platforms. At Torque, I own community and marketing with a P&L and a team of 6, and community become a growth engine. 80% of placements come through it, while paid acquisitions stayed near zero. I'm looking for a talent platform that wants community to be how they grow, not a Slack server they check on a quarterly basis, because building that engine from zero is the thing I'm best at and the thing I love. I love that. And then they gave me a 10-second version. I turned communities into growth engines for talent platforms. At Torque, I drove 80% of placements at near zero cost acquisition. I want to build that again from zero. So love that. All right, y'all. That was it for today. Hopefully you got something out of it. I do believe these prompts are in the Torque Discord, torque.dev/Discord. Would love to have you. So next week, we're going to go into writing cold DMs, cover letters, and actually sending them. So that's next week. Tomorrow, I'm back with the guest on the topic of AI. Hopefully you will be there. So we'll see you tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Central. Otherwise, if you got value from this, would love if you shared it to your network. And y'all have a great Tuesday, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.